कृष्ण भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव अम्बे मात की जय। गणपति महाराज की जय। ओम नमः पार्वती पते हर हर महादेव हर। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Dear devotees, with the grace of the Bhagwan Sri Krishna, divine knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, blessings from the Guru Maharaj and cosmic power from the universe. Today we are going to understand Bhagavad Gita chapter number 5, verses number 8 and 9. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यच्छृण्वन् प्रस्यच्छिन्नस्न गच्छन् स्वपञ्चस्वसन प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृहन् अन्यो मिष्णानिमीषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्ते इति धारयन्. One who knows tattva, the basics about the spirituality, where Bhagwan Sri Krishna says Sankhya Yoga. That one, in any form of the action, sarva indriya, any senses, any form of the actions, they will remain neutral. Neutral means that nothing will affect them. Nothing will affect them. This means that it will not go through into them emotions and heart. Our problem starts when we take everything is emotionally and taking into the heart. And I always give example. Say, for example, there is a 500 people has gathered into the one of the event. 500 people. All 500, they don't know each other. But amongst those 500, say 20 people, they know each other. So 480 person will pass from this person, and if they're not going to greet, hello, namaste, Jai Shri Krishna, whatever. So those 480 people, when they're going to pass, if this person is standing here and if nobody will greet him, he will be fine. But as soon as those 20 who knows him or her, and out of those 20, if one pass, and if don't greet, then it will affect to him or her. Why this person did not look at towards me, or why this person did not greet me. But what about those 480 which you already ignored? But because this 480 was not attached with you emotionally and heartfully at any level, although everybody is under the one roof, attending the only same event where you went, but your focus is why out of those 20 who I know, they did not greet me. Or out of those 21, forgot about, if 19 greet and if the one doesn't greet it, why that person did not greet me. So what will happen? We will spoil that entire event ourselves because of that one person did not greet. Because our mind will think about why, what happened, and then even if that person is so close to us, so close, I will say close friend, close relative, or close neighbor, and if that person just passed like that, it will affect more to us. If someone is meet us once a week or once in a blue moon, still we're going to ignore. But if someone very close, then it's going to be affect more to us. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says here, okay, anything you do, remain neutral. So what if that person did not greet? Consider that 481 one. Carry on with your life. That person may have some his or her own things, own problems, own thoughts, own things, which maybe could not manage to greet you. But our focus will be why did not greet. Then we will try to find out why. So the problem our start when human brain work in different directions, and then we don't ask direct, why didn't you greet me? Then we go through the channels. So channels means case spicy channels, because we are a Hindu, we are Indians. We like spicy food. So now the channels, before the matter reached to that person, it was the act of it's just natural forgetting it. It become a conspiracy act, and by the time it's reached to that person, its story is completely different than it was supposed to be. And then it escalate more problem instead of the resolving the problem, and its effect both party are more than it was supposed to be. But the problem start with that you take that particular action heartfully, soulfully, and emotionally. And this is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna teaching us is. Okay, the person who has developed the quality of the maturity in his life, spiritual maturity I'm talking about, divine cosmic maturity, through the spiritual practices, they will remain a neutral in any circumstances. And that neutral position, when we reach to ourselves to the neutral position, then we can tell ourselves, okay, yes, I have achieved something in my spiritual journey, spiritual life, spiritual position. But that neutral position, when supposed to come? Not at the age of the retirement. Because age of the retirement already become a neutral. Then you don't worry about anything because you want to just relax. Age, the neutral position is supposed to become while you are into the sansar, hardcore sansar I'm talking about. Hardcore sansar means you fulfilling your responsibility, you doing your duties, you doing everything what you can do for your family, for your loved ones, for your everybody. Because that's the time you face in a workplace, in a business place, in a social life, in a community life, in a public life, in a family life. That's the age you face the criticism, controversy and problems. Retirement, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Nobody will criticize you. Actually, in retirement, they will make sure that you are holding the stick properly. Even if your enemy will look at from far, make sure that let me help. Now he's getting old. Let me help him or her. That is not a friendship. That will be, say, okay, because of the age related is my manavta, if they have a. to help humanity. Spiritual maturity, when you are actually into the sansar. In the sansar, as I explained, those are the things which everybody go through, responsibility. And then when the one who fulfills the responsibility, that's the one who faces the more criticism. That's the one who faces the more difficulties. That's the one who faces the more problems, pain, and emotional sorrow. They go through that phase. And that is why Bhagavan Sri Krishna telling here at this stage in the 5th chapter to explain to the Arjun, this is what you're going through. You are more worried about what criticism will come to you than what you're supposed to do. Dharma. Because end of that, Arjun question is like that, what people will say? If I'm going to kill my loved ones, then what people will say? How I'm going to face my ancestor, which is he already mentioned into the chapter number 2. How I'm going to face the world. How I'm going to face myself, because I myself has killed ABCD personalities. But if you look at all those things, then you're going to be moved, you're going to skip your dharma. You will not follow your dharma. Then the compromise will come to the following the path of the dharma, duties. That is why Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, stay in a neutral position. We as a spiritual, highly spiritual personality or mature spiritual personality, we're supposed to understand this level of the maturity. In the spiritual world way, we're supposed to remain neutral, but neutral means our focus, our dharma. Our focus should be our dharma, our vision should be our dharma, our thoughts should be our dharma, and our life should be our dharma. Dharma does not mean religion. Dharma means your responsibilities and moral and ethical duties towards the everything. Towards everything, in each and everyone, towards. As soon as we fulfill our moral and ethical duties, that means we are following the dharma. As soon as we compromise with our moral and ethical duties towards everything and everybody, then we are following the adharma. When we are working, we are supposed to be loyal towards our boss. Supposed to be. Loyal means somebody is paying us with that money, we are surviving our house. There is 10 people surviving behind us, or 5 people, 2 people. And only that person is expecting our skill, and we are supposed to give that skill to that person. Now, if we compromise or if we don't do that things, that means we are doing the adharma. Each and every angle, each and every level. As a son, what is our moral and ethic duty towards our parents? As a parents, what is our moral and ethical duty towards our children? As a leader, what is my moral and ethical duty towards my followers or congregations or people or friends? We are supposed to know all those things. And in that, by following those duties, in those life, if we remain ourselves neutral. Because remember one thing is, everything is not glorified type of the response. There is no glory in this real world actually. We expect the glory basically. That person will praise me, that person will give me a. We expect glory, but there is not such a glory is exist. People did not even glorify the Bhagavan Sri Krishna when the Krishna Bhagavan was alive there. Means presence, he himself was presence into the planet Earth. People did not glorify Bhagavan Sri Ram while he was here into this planet Earth. If it is that the life is so glorified life, then the Krishna Bhagavan would not have left his own hometown, Mathura, Gokul, and then stayed himself into the Dwarika Nagari. Bhagwan Sri Ram has went 14 years into forest with the mission, but it's one part, but end of that, it's question always there. Okay, life is not glorified life. You have to go through those criticize, because everybody's brain is not the same. But because of the small scale of the criticism, if you miss your goal, if you miss your dharma, if you miss your vision, then you're going to lose everything. If you remember, if the Krishna Bhagavan, after killing the Kans, if he has thought, okay, Marukampati, you let me go now, who could have stopped him? He finished his job. He came here to kill the Kans, who was person who was adharmi, and then he done his job, finished. And after that, he stayed here. Now, after that, what happened? Shishupal came, Jarasandha came, many other came who was consistently criticizing the Krishna Bhagavan, including Duryodhan. To a point, Dhritarashtra did not like him too. Other side, as much as the Pandava was very good with the Krishna Bhagavan also, but there too, if you look at that whole life of the Pandava, there was no glory in them life. But they did not compromise with that dharma, with them duties, with them morals, and with them ethics. Yes, problem will come. We'll come over from the problems. We'll come over from the difficulties. We'll come over from the everything. But subject is, when that maturity come, so Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, bring the neutral qualities in your life. Glory, pain should not affect to you emotionally, heartfully. Otherwise, it will be your life will be bring back you down, because you are going to judge yourself based on your emotions and based on your heart, not based on the spiritual reality. And spiritual reality is, whatever is your senses is observing is not the truth. That's the one thing we must remember. The spiritual reality is, our senses observing is not the truth. Because of our senses, that's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna has mentioned each senses separately. Eyes, nose. Even Bhagavan Sri Krishna went to eating, walking, sleeping, breathing, drinking water, opening your eyes, closing your eyes, no matter what you do. You supposed to remain a silence, a neutral. The reason why is because your senses is only look at what your brain is telling you, your senses to look. And your brain is only giving the instruction to you only what you have installed already in your brain. Remember, the computer only can produce what the software has been installed. If the software is not in the computer, if the software is not installed in a computer, that computer will not perform which everybody's computer is performing. Simple example, if your computer, you buy the computer, expensive computer, 50,000, 70,000, 80,000 rand computer, using that computer is fine, and then somebody asks, okay, let's open the computer and then let's have a talk over the team viewer. Something in these days is working, team viewer, something. Now, the first question you're going to ask, what is that? Because in your computer, there is no team viewer, for example, or Google Meet, or famous word is called the Zoom. You haven't installed the Zoom in your computer. Someone says, let's have a meeting over the Zoom. The first question you're going to ask, what is the Zoom? Because you don't know about the Zoom. Why you don't know about it? Because that hasn't been installed in your computer. Once you install the computer, then automatically when you open the computer and you press the Zoom button, everything will be start. Your meetings, whatever it is. During the lockdown, everybody has used that Zoom meetings and Zoom. Zoom was become a very powerful, popular applications during that time. But when you can use that Zoom, once you install it. Similarly, remember, if your brain is producing something, that means you already has installed. Brain is not receiving anything from new, from external world. Brain is only producing the software or thoughts which you already has installed in your brain. Consciously or subconsciously, whichever way you have installed, only that is produced, nothing else. If your brain don't know, means if you haven't installed in your brain how to fix the car, then finish. No matter how powerful person you are, you will not pick up the screwdriver and fix the car, because that installation hasn't happened. Then you're going to look to somebody who has installed fixing the car software in the brain, means a mechanic. And then after, your car will be get fixed. So imagine now, many times people, my close one tells me, do you know how to change the tire? Many times they ask me this question. And sometimes I say, yeah, I know. Sometimes I said, okay, I will try. Subject is, yes, you're supposed to know how to change the tire. But in my life, I haven't installed that software in my brain how to change the tire. Now, imagine now, I'm not giving anybody example, I'm going to give my own example. If one day if I have to change my tire, what I will do it? I haven't installed that software, how to change it. Yes, I know, so many times people show me how to change the tire. But it's just so. But now you're reaching the stage where you have to change the tire. Because by तुम्हारा कोई कहता हूँ कर दे मैं. You can't do. Because he hasn't installed how to change the tire. So now in the middle of the road, now you have to change the tire. So what will happen? So whatever our brain has installed, first take the phone out, park the car, take the phone out, phone somebody, look, I'm stuck here, can you send a help? Oh, if you have a powerful insurance, what they call anything, in these days, those planning coming all, road planning, and there's, so you're going to phone them, look, I'm standing here, middle of the road, this is my location, please come and help me to change the tire. Otherwise, you will start yourself. And when you start yourself, and if you don't know, then you will damage more than it's not supposed to, because first things first, you don't know how to put the spanner in. Installation in the brain. But those who know how to do it, they will not wait for anything. They will get out from the car, take the jack out, put the car on the jack, stabilize, turn 3 times, this left, 2 times right, 3 times left, 2 times right, take the screws out, take the spare wheel out, put it back tight, and then bring the car down, take the jack out, put it in, then continue with the journey. Easy for them. Because that method they already has installed. In our life, is everything is like that. Whatever we do, which already pre-installed, and we only producing, nothing else. Now, what we are installing in our subconscious and conscious mind through our senses, that is very important. That's why I said our senses is not independent. Let's say we have a left hand and right hand. I think last week I gave example, but repeating again. We have a left and right hand. So on the left hand, if we throw the cold water, so your left hand will tell you that water is a cold. In the same time, if you throw the hot water in the right hand, then your right hand will tell the water is a hot. Now both messaging going into the one brain. Water is a hot and cold. But who sent that instruction? Your left and right hand. And both hands are right, because they experiencing only that what they are experiencing. This hand don't know that there is a cold water exists as well. This hand only know only that the hot water exists, finish. So if you're going to try to convince this hand that water is a cold also, then this hand not going to accept it. Why? Because that hand hasn't experienced it that. Water is cold. Because haven't experienced it. Senses is like that. If one eye see computer and another eye see is camera, both eye will send instructions that there is a computer exist and the camera exist. But if you're going to ask your left hand by closing the right hand, where is the camera? There is no camera, only computer. Why? Because left hand don't know why there is existence of the camera. That does not mean that there is no camera. So now when we tell something, or when we produce something, or when we experience something through the senses is not independent. But the moment we become a neutral, then automatically this hand will try to look where is the cold water. If somebody is telling, is there is cold water, let me look for the cold water. If we become a neutral, then this eye will try to look where is the camera. Because our brain, our conscious and our subconscious mind will force us to think in that direction. If something is there, that means I must do lot but investigation and research to find out if something exists or not. And that is the way we going wrong in our life, where we only create our thought based on presumptions and assumptions through the under controlled by these combinations in a world which is called the combo of the brain and senses. And these combinations and synchronizations, and you know what, their senses and brain are so clever. When it's come to the synchronizing themselves into the bad things, they are quick. Simple example I will give you. If someone have a strong acidity, that means that they can't eat or drink hot food, spicy food. I'm just using an example, because as soon as they're going to give them body that hot or spicy food, that will kickstart acidity, which is harmful for themselves. Aware that instruction already sitting here, it is harmful to your brain. Brain says, yes, harmful, accepting. Subconscious mind says, yes, harmful, I can't eat. Your tongue knows, yes, I can't eat, 100%. And as soon as you see that spicy food, these clever enemies of us all together, three, all of them, subconscious, conscious mind, and tongue, immediately within a second they will come join hands. And then they will force us, let's eat. You must eat. Now is ચાલશે એક દિવસ તો હું પર પડવાનો. It will, they will join hand. And then after you are going to eat. And then you will suffer. હવે થઈ ગયું. It's done. But why it's done, you're not supposed to be. But under the influence of these combinations of these three, which has negatively affected your decisions, impacted and affected your decisions, which is you're not supposed to be. I gave example about the hot and spicy food, but think about any decisions we take in our life, we take based on these things, circumstances. And if we are not neutral, spiritual neutrality I'm talking about. Otherwise, when I use the word called the neutral, then we are selective neutral personality. When it's come to the conveniently affecting us, then we become a neutral. And when it's conveniently doesn't affecting to us, and then we don't become a neutral. We become a difficult. Why? Because it's not helping us conveniently. And if something is helping us conveniently, and then we become a neutral. And I always give example, okay, bhai, when COVID started, that lockdown story started, that time was circumstantial based decisions we used to take in everybody's individual life. Should I go to visit or that person or not? Must I phone that person or not? Must I call those people or not? Must I invite that things or not? You understand? Must I visit a place of worship or not? Must I do that? That all was based on the circumstantial decisions. Now, 2 years later, everything seems to be normal. Now we are bringing our convenient by using those excuses in our life. When it's come for us to go to the eat in restaurant, then there is everything is fine. When it's come for us to go and walk into the mall, it's fine. When it's come for us to going into the parties, it's fine. That time is no COVID. But when it's come to attending the religious, spiritual, worship-based event, then we bring that excuse. Oh yes, remember that's COVID. Okay, still going on? Yes, still going on. Okay, we have to take the precautions. Yes, I have to take the precautions. I'm also aged and all those things. That all kick starts. Because this doesn't suit us. And that is why the life we have lived the life like that, whole life. Conveniently we select our decisions based on who we want to deal with it. But those decisions comes from where? Based on emotions and sensual pleasure through the brain and then subconscious mind. That's why Bhagavan Sri Krishna has to mention here. If you are a spiritual person, if you are a devotional person, if you are a divine personality, you're supposed to be neutral. Emotionally neutral. I'm not talking about neutral in the sense where the conveniently neutral. No. Emotionally neutral. It was Bhagwan Sri Ram who was emotionally neutral personality. He lived his life with his principles. with his adarsh, with his ethics and morals. Yes, he lived his life. Krishna Bhagavan, strong. Because you see, remember, when Bhagavan Sri Ram came, he was person with the principle but a soft-hearted personality. Soft-hearted. Ke bhai, okay, chali jao, karwa do, thai gyu. When the Krishna Bhagavan has learned the lesson from the Ram Bhagavan's life, where he was himself understood ke bhai, what and which way human will understand. Because to speak to somebody, you have to speak in their language. Imagine now, I'm going into one of the location, hardcore tribal location, African tribal location. And I'm sitting nicely with the mics and everything. Now I'm speaking into the Gujarati there, or Hindi, or Tamil, or Sanskrit. I spend my 10 hours of giving a lecture in that language. There are thousands of the tribals sitting in front of me, but what word they understood? Nothing. So that 10 hours of my spending with them, what exactly happened is waste of time, skill, energy, and knowledge. Because you did not manage to transform your message to them. Now, if you want to transform that message to them, that means that you have to learn the tribal language. That's why I always speak the language which they understand. Now, Bhagavan Sri Ram came. Now, Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, I will speak the language which you as a human understand. And that's why if you see the Krishna Bhagavan's life is opposite than the Ram Bhagavan. And we always say, do what Ram did and do what Krishna says. There's two different stories. Do what Ram did. So Ram Bhagavan has did himself practically, so follow his footstep of his life. But don't do what the Krishna Bhagavan did. Only do what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Because as soon as you're going to put yourself in what Krishna did, then you're going to get confused. Krishna did, one side he has at the age of the 5 or 3 or 4, say 5, he hold the entire Govardhan mountain on his tiny finger. And then he has rescued the 16,000 Patrani from the demons. And then at the age of the 7, he killed the Kans. Which is none of us can do that. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, do what I say, don't do what I did. Because for you to do what I did, you first have to do what I'm saying to you. And to understand what he says, you have to understand the Bhagavad Gita itself. To understand the Bhagavad Gita, this one is very important. Neutral life is very important. Otherwise, if we're not going to bring that neutral life in our life, then what will happen automatically? Our decisions will be based on the emotions. And emotions is not a neutral. Emotions is always I will say, based on your attachment. How attached you are with something. And then your emotions and your decisions and actions will start. Simple example I will give you. One child. Who was good in a study, but his emotions. His father was wealthy actually, very good wealthy personality. So he told his father, When I finish my metric, I need a VW, C80 or whatever it is, Jetta, whatever it is, new car, brand new car. Father says, okay, I will give you. No problem. He worked hard, he got his good marks, the result came. With his entire happiness, he went to his father, I got my result. His father says, congratulations, come. He took him to the study room. In closed book, it was Bhagavad Gita. He says, beta, this is your gift. He looked at him. It was Bhagavad Gita. He got so cross and angry from his father. What you promised, you did not give me. Are you giving me this book? Now I will prove myself. I can buy better car. He left the house. Was very intelligent. So he became a CEO of the powerful company, earning well. Did not had any kind of the communication with his father. He kept it. He built up so much hatred in his life. He did not even wanted to listen his father's name because of that incident. Anyway, time has passed. Things change. One day he has received a phone call. He said, other side from the phone, I'm calling so and so person. Your father only have a 24 hours. And if you wish, you can come. Remember, any anger doesn't last long. One day it ends. And if someone keeping anger till your last breath, that means you are not human. Finish. Remember that. Because one day you have to come down. Anyway, this child decided to go and visit his father. Anyway, it's 24 hours now. I can't keep it too. So he went. Before he reached, his father was passed away. He did all the rituals which he is supposed to do. And then he went back into the study room. The book he left it was still there. And then he opened the book. And as soon as he opened the book, the key falls down. From the book, key fell down. And that was the key of the car which he wanted. He took the key. He went into the garage. Very same car which he wanted was there. Kept it in the good condition up to now. Now imagine now what that child is went through for that phase. After 30 years later, he came to know his father wasn't wrong, he was the wrong. He acted based on the emotions. His emotions was more towards the car than the father's feeling. This is exactly we do in our life. Because as soon as we go with our emotions, we are not going to look beyond our emotions. And that is Bhagavan Sri Krishna is telling to the Arjun, hey Arjun, you're not looking beyond your emotions. You're only looking your emotions. You are judging yourself based on what you thinking, what your senses telling you, what it is. But there is a beyond, there is something. To understand that, bring the neutrality in your senses. And how to bring that neutral thoughts in our senses is what we can do to bring that some neutral thoughts in our brain, best things we can do it here is read Bhagavad Gita. Not only read, understand the Bhagavad Gita. Not only understand the Bhagavad Gita, digest the Bhagavad Gita. Not only digest the Bhagavad Gita, but live the Bhagavad Gita. Remember, Bhagavad Gita have 18 chapters. And out of the 18 chapter, in this lifetime when we live in, if we design our life, out of the 18th chapter, if you pick up the 5 principles of the Bhagavad Gita, I'm not talking about all of them, only 5 principles. And those are the 5 principles that are very well known. Karma, do the karma without any expectations. Understand there is a karma which we have to pay for it. These are the 2 basics, and other 3 we will talk one day. If we bring these 2 qualities, can understand the karma and then karma which is we have to pay for it, and without expectations karma, these are the 2-3 principles will bring the neutral lifestyle in our. Because it will not going to be effect to us. If someone comes and tells you, okay, you are wrong, okay, it's fine, what will happen? It's not going to affect. It's not going to touch your heart. Reason wise? Because you know the karma. You did not attach yourself with the karma. You did not expected anything from that karma which you did. You know, okay, if that person is telling me, that means I may have done something wrong towards him in a past birth. Let me finish and done. Let him to finish his karma, let me finish. If I'm going to reply him, then I'm going to create new karma. Action is reaction. Action versus reaction. Now, if you do not react to the action, then there is no new action. If today, say for example, and then remember that every action is powerless without your reaction. So if today, if I'm sitting here, after Bhagavad Gita, and if I go to the Bhikkhu, if I tell him 10 negative thoughts, or 10, if I tell him 10 things, and if it's just 10 like this in front of me, and don't even say a single word, then what will happen? Nothing will happen. Why? Because he did not react to my actions and finished, done. Pati, you come puru the you said whatever you wanted to say, I listened what I wanted to listen, and go home, have eat and sleep nicely. But as soon as you react, if the Bhikkhubhai react towards me, now he is also reacting on my actions. That means now we both building up the karma again. That means we both have to come back again to finish what talk or what exchange we had it in between. I'm just using example. And that is why Bhagavad Gita is all about do not react to the action. And this is best principle we can adopt in our life. Let the action to be happen. Your reaction makes a powerful that action. If your reaction is not there, there is no power in the action. If you do not switch on the light, there is no power. You have to switch on the light. To switch on the light, you have to press the button. So if you press the button, any of your senses, then automatically they're going to react it. Then they will judge that person based on what your past experience, not current experience. So we will talk about it in continuous in the next few sessions. Now we are reaching to the Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. Next Ekadasi will be the Bhagavad Gita Jayanti, 3rd of December, a Saturday. So I'm thinking to having some prayers and everything. In the same time, it will, because of the Saturday, there will be some talk and everything. I'm thinking to having something basically. In the same time, maybe in next couple of days, I will start Bhagavad Gita quiz which is third year I'm going to start. So all those things is in a pipeline. So, and we will learn more about the Bhagavad Gita through the quiz and on the Bhagavad Gita. So now we will do the Aarti now. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranatakleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. સાંજ પડે દિનયાથ મે ચકવા ચકવીરો ચલો ચકવા ક્યાં જઈએ સાંજ પડે મતરો ગૌરી પૂછે ગોરિયા કોણ ભલેરો દેશ સંપત હોય તો ઘર ભલા નહીં તો ભલો પરદેશ તિમિર ગયું રવિ દેખતા કુબુદ્ધિ ગઈ ગુરુ જ્ઞાન સંપત ગઈ અતિ લોભ છે ભક્તિ ગઈ અભિમાની કુંજર ભયો લિયો અપને શિર ભાર તાકે જમરા કૂટ છે જેમ લોઢું ગઢેલું હાર. श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय. ओम जय काना काड़ा प्रभु जय काना काड़ा मीठी मोर वाड़ा मीठी मोरली वाड़ा गोपीना प्यारा. ओम जय काना काड़ा कामण गारा कान कामण बहु कीधा प्रभु कामण बहु कीधा. माखण चोरी मोहन माखण चोरी मोहन चित चोरी लीधा. ओम जय काना काड़ा नंद जशोदा घेरो वैकुंठ उतार्यूं प्रभु वैकुंठ उतार्यूं. कालिया मर्दन कीधु कालिया मर्दन कीधु गायो ने चारी. ओम जय काना काड़ा गुणतना तुझ पार के में नहीं आवे प्रभु के में नहीं आवे. नेति वेद पुकारे नेति वेद पुकारे पुनीत सुंगावे. ओम जय काना का ओम जय काना काड़ा प्रभु जय काना काड़ा मीठी मोरली वाड़ा मीठी मोरली वाड़ा गोपीना प्यारा. ओम जय काना काड़ा ओम जय काना काड़ा ओम जय काना काड़ा. कपूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि. મંગલમ ભગવાન વિષ્ણુ મંગલમ ગરુડધ્વજ મંગલમ પુંડરીકાક્ષ મંગલાય તનો હરિ સર્વમંગલ માંગલ્યે શિવે સર્વાર્થ સાધિકે શરણ્યે ત્રંબકે ગૌરી નારાયણી નમોસ્તુતે નારાયણી નમોસ્તુતે નારાયણી નમોસ્તુતે. શ્રી રાધે કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય. જલેન શુતલીકર્ણમ કુર્યાત. દેવતાનામ અભિવંદનમ સ્થાપિત દેવતાભ્યો નમઃ. નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ નિરાંજનમ સમર્પયામિ આરાર્તિકમ સમર્પયામિ. યશ આરોગ્ય પ્રાપ્તિ અર્થે સ્વાત્માનામ અભિવંદનમ પાત્રાદ વૈ હસ્તમ પ્રક્ષાલ્ય. શ્રીરામચંદ્ર કૃપાળુ ભજ મનહરન ભવ ભયદારુણમ નવકંજલોચન કંજમુખકર કંજપદકંજારુણમ કંદર્પય ગણિતયમિત છવિનવ નીલનીરજસુંદરમ પટપીતમાનૌ તડિતરુચિસુ નૌમિ જનકસુતાવરમ શિરમુકુટકુંડલતિલકચારુદાર અંગવિભૂષણમ માજાભુજશરચા પધરુ સંગ્રામજિતખરદૂષણમ ભજુ દીનબંધુદિને સદાનવદૈત્યવંશનિકંદનમ રઘુનંદયાનંદકંદકૌશલ ચંદ્રદશરથનંદનમ ઇતિ વદિત તુલસીદાસ શંકર શેષમુનિમનરન મમ હૃદય કુંજનિવાસ કુરુ કામાદિખલદલરંજનમ. સિયાવર રામચંદ્ર ભગવાન કી જય. રાધે કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય. ગણપતિ મહારાજ. વિઘ્નેશ્વરાય વરદાય સુરપ્રિયાય લંબોદરાય સકલાય જગદ્વિતાય નાગાનનાય શ્રુતિયજ્ઞવિભૂષિતાય ગૌરીસુતાય ગણનાથ નમો નમસ્તે. ગણપતિ મહારાજ કી જય. ઉમાપતિ મહા શ્મશાને સ્વાક્રીડા સ્મરહર પિશાચા સહચરા ભસ્માલેપમ સૃગપિનુકરોટી પરિકરમ અમંગલ્યમ શીલમ તવ ભવતુ નામેવમખિલમ તથાપિ સ્મર્તॄણાં વરદ પરમં મંગલમસી. ઉમાપતિ મહાદેવ. રાધે કૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય. કૃષ્ણ કનૈયાલાલ કી. બાલકૃષ્ણ ભગવાન કી જય. શાંતાકારમ ભુજગશયનમ પદ્મનાભમ સુરેશમ વિશ્વાધારમ ગગનસદૃશમ મેઘવર્ણમ શુભાંગમ લક્ષ્મીકાંતમ કમલનયનમ યોગિવિરધ્યાનગમ્યમ વંદે વિષ્ણું ભવભયારમ સર્વલોકૈક વસુદેવં સુતં દેવં કંસચાણૂરમર્દનમ દેવકી પરમાનંદમ કૃષ્ણં વંદે જગદ્ગુરુ. આકાશાત પતિતં યોऽયં યથા ગચ્છતિ સાગરં સર્વદેવો નમસ્કારં કેશવં પ્રતિ ગચ્છતિ. મુખં કરોતિ વાચાલં પંગુલં યત્કૃપાત્વમહં વંદે પરમાનંદં માધવં. ત્વમેવ માતાશ્ચ પિતા ત્વમેવ બંધુશ્ચ સખા ત્વમેવ વિદ્યા દ્રવિણં ત્વમેવ સર્વં મમ દેવદેવ. ગુરુર્બ્રહ્મા ગુરુર્વિષ્ણુ ગુરુર્દેવો મહેશ્વરં ગુરુર્સાક્ષાत् બ્રહ્મ તસ્मै શ્રી ગુરુવે નમઃ. અસદગિરિસમં શાદકજ્જलं સિંધુપાત્રે સુરતરુવરશાખા લેખની પત્રમુરભી लिखते यदि गृहीत्वां शारदा सर्वकालं तदपि तव गुणानां मीशपारं. राधे कृष्ण भगवान. जय 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 जगदम्बे आद्य शक्ति भवानी माँ अम्बे माँ. नमो देव्यै महादेव्यै शिवायै सततं नमः. नमः प्रकृत्यै भद्रायै नियतां प्रणतां विद्युद्दाम समप्रभां मृगपतिं स्कन्धस्थितां भीषणां बिभ्राणां मण्डलात्मिकां शशिधरां दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां भजे दुर्गां त्रिनेत्रां अम्बे माँ आशापुरी मात की जय महालक्ष्मी मात की जय। ओम राधे कृष्ण भगवान कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। बाल कृष्ण भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। गणपति महाराज। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव हर। राम कहे सुख उपजे कृष्ण कहे दुख जाय। महिमा हरि प्रसाद को खाता पावन थाय सिया। रामचंद्र की जय रघुवीर रामचंद्र की। पवन सुत हनुमान तुलसिया संसार में भात भात के लोग सबसे हिल मिल चाल। नदी नाव संजोग सियावर रामचंद्र की। रघुवीर राम पवन सुत हनु चित्रकूट के घाट पर भई संतन की भीड़। तुलसीदास चंदन घसे तिलक करे रघुवीर सियावर रामचंद्र की। रघुवीर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान उमापति महादेव की जय। रमापति राम वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की प्रसादी ध्यान की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरे परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। श्री राधे कृष्णाय नमः। श्री राधे कृष्णाय नमः। श्री राधे कृष्णाय नमः। गजानन गणपति महाराज कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल बालकृष्ण भगवान उमापति महादेव। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः ओम नमः ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। ओम नमः शिवाय। पोढ़ो पोढ़ो कृष्ण कमल दड़ लोचन मारा प्रभु जी ने निंद्रा आवे जीरे। सोनानो ढोलियो ने हिरनी रे पाटी साकड़ चार सोनानी जीरे। मशरू तड़ाय हूँ तो हीरे जड़ वालानी सेज बिछा। गालम सूर्य मारा वाला जी ने प्रेमे पास यु पासे जीरे। कृष्ण जी पोड़े राधा सुवड़ावे जसोमती पवन ढोड़ावे। सूरदास प्रभु अमर मिलन को प्रभु जी ने निंद्राया। नमस्ते हमारा अहो प्राणदाता, नमस्ते हमारा पिता माता भ्रात, नमस्ते महादेव जोड़ित विहस्ते, नमस्ते प्रभु जी, नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते। स्थापित देवता में प्रार्थना पूर्वक नमस्कार समर्पयामि। स्थापित देवता में सुखिन शयनम कुर्यात्, सुखिन शयनम कुर्यात्, सुखिन शयनम कुर्यात्। जय श्री